Hi, Ashley Richardson doing my final reflection video for Decision Points 2. I think a lasting legacy for both D-Day and the dropping of the atomic weapons on Japan is just the emergence of the United States as a superpower. With D-Day, even though that we were fighting on the beaches of Normandy with Great Britain, we really were showcasing our force. We were coming out and showing the world and Germany that we had power on land, we had power at sea, and we had power in the air. Also, as far as our technological advances went, we showed them that we had LSTs, Higgin boats, that we could drive right up onto the beaches and deposit our tanks, our men, and any equipment that we needed to push forward into the liberation of Europe. For Japan, it was our showcase of, once again, our technology, that we had technological advances, we had science, and we had the money to back up science and back up the advancement and development of new weapons. As far as modern legacies or modern aspects go, for D-Day, I think it's just the sheer fact that it was the first push into the liberation of Europe and to the defeat of Germany. Had we not been successful on the beaches of Normandy, had we not been successful at D-Day, then Germany may have won this war, and Europe may have looked for a long time like a fascist dictatorship. We may not have a United Nations. We may not have the diplomacy that we have with Europe today. For Japan, I think it's very obvious that the dropping of the atomic bombs is a very, very lasting event that to this day we have not, or nobody has dropped another atomic weapon onto a country, because I think that once we did drop it, we showed that the effects of the bomb went beyond the blast. At the time, we didn't know about radiation sickness, and so I think that having seen that and having seen the true effect of the atomic weapon and how we still hold it as such a dangerous weapon today is very lasting, and I don't see that going away anytime soon. I think a very indispensable person for D-Day is obviously Dwight Eisenhower. He was extremely diplomatic in his dealings with both the U.S. troops and the British troops, in his dealings with Churchill, which I think was a feat all in itself. But I think he really cared, and I think he had to make some really tough decisions, and I think he kind of was cool as a cucumber in the face of tough choices. And so I really don't think that there could have been anybody better for the job. I think he was just a really great pick, and I don't think that D-Day would have turned out the same without him. Especially because he made a lot of tough choices in the sense of delaying the invasion by a month to build more LSTs and stuff like that. For Japan, I think that some very important indispensable figures are just the men that were there from the very beginning on the Manhattan Project with Roosevelt, Bush, Cotton, even Alexander Sachs. That just their development of the weapon. Obviously, had they not developed the weapon, the event would have never even happened. So I think they are extremely indispensable in said event. And obviously Harry Truman, because even though he didn't give his explicit order to drop the bomb, he did give his consent to do so. So of course, without that, we also would not have had that event. But I think something that's very important to point out on both events is the urgency and the importance that each event held. For D-Day, had we not been successful, that was kind of our one shot. And had we not been successful, we may not have won that portion of the war. For Japan, we had to show them that we had this weapon. Had it proved to be a dud, we may have had to actually go through with Operation Downfall. We may have actually had to have gone through with the invasion of Japan, and that would have resulted in an extremely bloody and costly war. Thanks for a great semester.